Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, Orcside Magic, and it's Jordan here. And we have a very special Deck Tuesday for you in this regards that we were contacted by a good friend of ours, Urza's trading post, all the way down in good old Australia. And he had a very specific request for the channel. Basically, he plays in a heavy meta. They play all the top tier decks and stuff like that. And he's been getting very excited by the Hour of Devastation and wanting to build a rogue list to take on his local gaming group, and decided to put in a message to us through Twitter. And yeah, I was highly intrigued and thought, yeah, you know what, I want to build around. So he roughly named the deck, which is always sweet, and it was called Razzle Dazzle, and it had a major function of round 2 certain creatures from the Hour Edition set themselves, and this is Razaketh the Foulblooded and Neheb the Eternal. Now, in this deck that I am brewing, we are going to be running 2 off of each of them. Basically, Razaketh is 8 mana creature. It is an 8/8 flying trampler, or flample, for those of you who do know the backstory around that. And basically, you can pay 2 life, you get to sack a creature, you get to search your library for a card, and then shuffle your library. Now, with Razaketh, you obviously need creatures on the board to sacrifice, so I have gone down a certain route with this deck against what some people wouldn't. Neheb the Eternal's ability is a 5-drop creature. He has Afflict 3, which obviously when he becomes blocked, the defending player will lose life. At the beginning of the second main phase, you get an additional red mana to your mana pool for each 1 life your opponent has lost this turn. So effectively, if you swing with him and they block, you're getting 3 additional mana to spend on whatever you want. So the way that I've gone down with this deck building, I have gone Jund, because I want to try and also help naturally ramp with some of the green spells. But also, I have gone a -1 counter thing. The benefit with this is that in the theme I've got in this, we get card draw from it, and we'll also get a token strategy coming. So the way to do that is, of course, we are running the Scorpion God and Hapatra, Vizier of Poisons, and they're both a 2 off again. So with the Scorpion God, basically whenever a creature with a -1 counter dies, we get to draw a card, and we can pay 1 red and a black to put a -1 counter on a target creature. Hapatra, obviously every time we get to put a -1 counter anywhere, basically we will create a 1/1 insect. So this gives us fodder for the sacrificing effect. And also it means if we do go wide enough, we can also swing and get a bit of extra damage in, so causing Neheb's ability to also ramp us into bigger spells. We then begin to look at some of the other creatures in the deck. We are running 2 off of Pilgrim's Eye. Benefit with this is that, of course, it just enters the battlefield and we get to find a land. It's also another good sacrifice token. We then also run 3 off of Obelisk Spider. This is a fantastic new addition to the -1 sub-theme that's going on in the Amonkhet block. Effectively, it has a Wither, because every time it deals damage to a creature an opponent controls, you get to put that many -1 counts on it. And also, whenever we put 1 or more -1 counters on a creature, we get to drain our opponent for 1 life, and we also gain life, so that will help us when we are doing the sacrifice effects on Razaketh. The final creature that we're running in the deck is Catacomb Sifter, and we're running 3 off. The benefit with this is that it will enter the battlefield and we get a friend, and the benefit also is that whenever a creature we control dies, we get to scry, which is very useful. It allows us to filter the top of our deck quite nicely, so we're going to be drawing into action, or we draw into lands that we need to be playing, and various things of that nature. Now, moving on to the spells. Basically, we are running a 4 off of Traverse the Ulvenwald. Benefit with this is that, of course, it is go search for a land, and late game when we got Delirium active, we can use it to go search out creatures, which means that we can get Razaketh to hand, or Neheb quite nicely into the deck. Then also run a 2 off Eclipse Rift Rite. Because we are running such a heavy swarm theme going on the deck, I figured it was stupid not to put in Cryptolith Rite to try and get more use out of creatures. Also, because we are running a couple of Catacomb Sifters, we also allow to tap the Eldrazi Scion token for a mana and sack it to get a colourless mana as well, which is really sweet. We then have some removal in the form of 4 Fatal Pushes and 2 Hour of Glories. Benefit of Fatal Push is, of course, we can hit most creatures in the format, as well as sacking Scions, or effectively killing one of the tokens with a -1 counter to be able to kill a 4 converted mana cost creature. Hour of Glory allows us to exile a creature in black, and if the creature itself is a god, you get to search the opponent's hand to exile all other god cards with the same name. So the chance of this actually hitting is probably very slim. Not a lot of decks are running multiples or heavy multiples of the gods. There is a red-green god beat deck which is doing it, but so it's all in a bit of favour or not. So it's definitely a card that can be easily removed out of the sideboard. The final 2 spells for this deck is we are running a 3-off of Splendid Agony. Benefit with this card is it allows us to spread out -1 counters, either allowing us to get better combat or even just get more tokens. And finally, we are running a 2-off of Chandra, Torch of Defiance. The benefit with her is, of course, we can use her +1 ability to ramp to get 2 extra mana. We can also do damage with her to get, obviously, trigger Neheb, so that's another 2 mana that way as well. We can also just use it to remove creatures from the board, so it allows us to get through for maximum damage. And if we manage to get the ultimate off, then that is fantastic, but that's not the main aim of the deck. We're probably using her more to ramp into things and do various things of that nature with the deck. Moving on to the land, basically we are using 2 off of Evolving Wilds. Didn't want to go too heavy on that because we do have 4 Traverse the Ulvenwald, which can help us go get land, and we do have a lot of scry and draw effects in the deck. We also have a 3-off of Aether Hub, 1-off of Blighted Woodland. We run a 4-off of Blooming Marsh, 2 Sheltered Thickets, 2 Canyon Sloughs, which allow us to get card draw, 1 Cinder Glade, 2 Hissing Quagmire, mainly for creature damage and trade up of combat. And finally for the basics, we are running 3-off a Swamp, 2 Mountains, and 2 Forests. Moving on to the sideboard, obviously this is depending on how the meta shifts and goes, and obviously I'd recommend you have a look at your play groups and various things like that. I'm running 2 more of Hour of Glories, mainly for the exile effect. We then have 2 off of Sweltering Suns. This just allows us to get a nice good board wipe, although I'm very tempted to put in Bontu's Last Reckoning because it's very sweet as well. 3 off by Force. This is mainly for artifacts destruction, and why not? We're then running 2 of Torment of Hailfire. This is mainly subbing against the control strategy decks, where you want to make them discard their hand and also lose life, which will be very useful. For against the aggro decks, we are putting in 3 off of Trespasser's Curse. This just allows us to make our opponent drain some life. Obviously, with Neheb on the board, this becomes quite a useful synergy as well. We then have 2 Ammit Eternals. Benefit with this card is that, of course, it gets -1 counters, which will also help triggers and various things like that. And it's a very nice, sweet, big creature. And the final card of the sideboard is Majestic Myriarch. One thing I like about this, because we are doing such a big swarm strategy, is this creature gets double the power and toughness equal to the amount of creatures we control. So effectively can get in there for quite heavy amounts of damage. It also has the upside of getting a lot of effects and keywords on it depending on what we've got in the field. And so that brings an end to the deck. So I would like to thank you, Urza's Trading Post, for getting in touch. Please check him out, link in the description box below. And yes, please leave any comments and what you think thoughts-wise with regards to this brew. And yeah, so this has been Jund Razzle Dazzle. And I would like to say this has been Orcshead Jordan, signing off from the channel. Goodbye. Thank you for watching the video. Please remember to hit that like button, it supports the channel for free. Also subscribe, and remember, if you don't want to miss any videos, hit the bell icon right next to the subscribe button. Thank you for watching again, goodbye.